Good morning. Today we're going to review a bunch of hands from tournaments from Tuesday, and I'm going to look into a bit of stud strategy as well. Shouldn't be too long. So first hand here is what? So this is a fixed limit $215 tournament. I have 3 hands marked, so we have a jacket off and the cutoff. So this was just kind of a standard spot that I couldn't remember, so I feel like I do raise this spot, but I need to check. I don't know where I can check this. I'd have to like check my old records or something, like really old hands. Maybe I could check my cash hands from long ago. Check Jack 8 off. Let's see if I can do this. So cash hands all time and filter Jack 8 off. Ten 9, Jack 9, Queen 9, King 9. It looks like I probably would raise Jack 8 off in the cutoff if it was favorable. So like if the blinds were bad or something, or tight. But I'm gonna filter specifically for that. Hand details. I haven't used these filters in forever. Hand values, full card range selection, hold'em range, Jack 8 off, add to filter, save and apply, and then let's say all time and hold'em fixed limit. So we'll fire that off and move on to the next hand while that runs. So I did fold here, and the blinds were somewhat tight, so probably favorable spot to raise. Second hand. King 9 off in the blind. Easy defend against what seems to be a very good player. So yeah, so this is kind of the standard old spot that I need to check. I guess it must just be a check call all the time, but we'll plug it in and see. For me to refamiliarize myself with these spots. So raising from the hijack, he raises probably 20 to 25%. I'll give him 22, I guess. And tailor it so he wouldn't be raising these, but he would raise these. Wow, clicking is hard. Jack 10 suited, 10-9 suited. We're at 22.62%. A7 off, probably not. Close. Should be close. Something like that. So our equity is actually not that good. 30%. I guess because it's not like it's a button or a cutoff steal. So we could probably just check fold actually. 30% equity is pretty bad. Right now it's 2, 4, 4.5, 5.5 small blinds, 6, 7, 8, 9. To get the showdown, it's 9.5 to 5. So we're getting 2 to 1 to see a showdown. if he bets 100% of the time, which he doesn't. But yeah, the equity here is a lot worse than I thought. So let's compare to, for example, button raise. Let's say a 50% button raise. So we're up to 38. It can't be a terrible mistake anyways to check call here. Right, so this hand got more complicated, so we'll go back. 22%. Black Album, yeah man. Yeah, like, I love that album, but I think it's because that was when I started getting into Metallica, so where people in general don't like it as much as some of the other albums, like, objectively, I think. But for me, it's probably my favorite album. What the fuck? I'm just looking at the graph that was generated by Jack 8 off. And I've lost infinite with it, which is weird. Is this even correct? How could this be possible? It says I've lost $15,000 with Jack 8 off over my poker career in 8,600 hands. That's just absurd. Then again, if you never play it, you'd be in the blinds defending with it most of the time, but still. Big blind per 100 minus 8. So maybe I was overplaying that hand. So like this massive leak I had my entire poker career. 700 bets, it's just insane. I feel like something can't be right here. So let's just pick a hand at random and look at it. So, big blind, small blind, button, big blind. How you doing, man? Pretty much find something you like in all the Metallica's albums, even Load Reload. Yeah, I didn't mind Load and Reload too much, from what I recall. But I mean, I didn't love it, and it didn't stand out to me at all. Like, I can't remember a single song off of either of those albums, but I did have them, and at the time they were okay. Button, big blind, small blind, button. Yeah, so it looks like I'd always steal with it from the button and then defend a lot, and apparently not do very well when I defend. That's pretty crazy. I feel like I want to try another similar hand. Let's say Queen 8 off and see how I was doing with that. So similarly, infinite down. So maybe it's just all these weak hands that's standard, and that you're always in the big blind and you're just trying to minimize your loss. It's hands that you almost never play. Because Queen 8 off has the same thing, and it's certainly a strictly better hand. Like I got the hand 9,000 times and I'm down 800 bets. And like, What, like Jack 8, Jack 7, Queen 7, Queen 8, Queen 9, King 8. Yeah, I put the playlist on shuffle and Metallica came up and I was like, yeah, I'm in the mood for Metallica. Let's do this. So King 8 off. Even for a long time and then down. So I made some change in my play. It's interesting. Or maybe the stakes that I was playing had higher stakes. It was harder to win with it. Because the first half of my career I was break even with it, and then the second half way down. Pretty crazy. I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff I could find by just digging around with this, but I don't really play Fix Limit Hold'em anyways, so it doesn't matter that much. Okay, so back to tournament hand. So King 9 off. Giving him that 22% range. Looks right. So on the turn, Ace of Hearts. I haven't actually tried any of their albums after Load Reload, I don't think. Maybe Death Magnetic, I think I tried. That's it. So here, if he c-bets 100% of his range, I need, what, 3.5 to 1? And I'm getting 4.25 to 1, so I guess it is correct to call, and I did. Now the river is where it's more interesting, because he would free show down some stuff. So against his entire range, my equity is pretty bad. Wow. So I guess I'd just check fold here. Let's see though. So what is he betting with? 4s he's betting. 5s. 5s he might bet to try and make me fold a better hand. Although it's unlikely that I'll fold a better hand if I call the ace. That magnet was really good too, although the sound was really bad. I can't remember, I think their latest album is the most popular of the non-early albums. Let me check. I might have to try out their latest album. So, Load Reload, Garage Inc. never listened to. Saint Anger, I tried it. Death Magnetic I have. What's this? Hardwired to Self-Destruct. So I guess that's their latest, and actually it doesn't look too bad either. Apparently Garage Inc. is not bad either. Assuming that's even a full album, like a normal album. I don't remember it much, or its existence much. I don't think I've ever listened to this. I probably have at some point, I must have. How could I have not? But this one definitely not. Hardwired to Self-Destruct from last year. I don't know. It doesn't look that well rated. Like 3 out of 5 is okay. But I have better music to study, I feel like. So here, what's he betting? I feel like he's probably not gonna bet 5s on average. 7s, yes. 8s. 8s might bet if he's really good. 9s, 10s, jacks and up. Jack 10, yeah. Queen Jack, King Queen. It's not betting. King Jack, yes. King 10, no. King queen, king 10, king 9, king 8. All can take a free showdown. Any ace will bet. Queen jack, queen 10 could free showdown. Queen 10, queen 9. Any jack, 10, 9 would potentially bluff here. Yeah. There's really not a lot of bluffs. 10, 9 suited, 9, 8 suited are the only hands I beat. So definite check fold. Yeah, so I made a mistake here. Definitely. Yeah. And then the final hand in the $200 tournament. Raise, call, call. Right, so I want to know if I'm supposed to play Queen 8 off multi-way. I can't remember if I do or not. So we'll check my old filters, I guess. So Queen 8 off. Big blind multi-way, basically. I don't know if I have a filter prepared. Call big blind 3 ways, suited garbage, unsuited garbage. So I don't have Queen 8 off in the unsuited garbage. 3 and 6 big blind, posted, hold them, fixed limit, 2 bet, 3, and then just put in Queen 8 off. And go with that. So just folding, I would lose half a big bet every hand. So for 100 hands would be what, 50? Math is hard. 0.5 times 100. So 50 BB, 100 down. So I'm doing better than that. So defending, calling multi-way looks like it is profitable. Shave off another half a big blind, or half. Basically I lose half. Instead of 50 I lose 25. So I should be calling in this spot, it looks like. How does this actually look on OBS? Okay, so it looks like this is a call multi-way, which I didn't remember. Okay, so that's the first tournament. The second tournament was the $27 fixed limit hold'em. There's a few hands marked for this one. A bunch of hands marked for this one, yeah, because this one lasted a long time. I played for many hours. So we have ace king versus a raise, easy re-raise, big blind cold 4 bets, and he's insane, maniac. He's 4 bet. It's the first time he's 4 bet, but he's 3 bet or more 3 out of 5 times. He bets, and this guy raises, so bit of a complicated spot we're gonna have to figure out. So we have ace king off. MF Pimp is a player that I played in high stakes. From what I recall, he's a bad tight aggressive player. So we need to figure out what's his, first of all, his raising range. Hey Niflin, how's it going, man? How did I end that tournament? This one here that I'm covering right now, I finished 75th or something, 80th, and I got $75 back. But I lost, I didn't get any money back in the $200 tournament, so I lost money on the day. But this tournament went pretty good. But it could have gone better, because I mean, it was going really well, and then all of a sudden I got nothing for like an hour and just lost everything. So it could have gone way, way better, and it did not. So I basically got the least that I could have gotten. Oh, that's not true. I guess I could have got eliminated sooner. But yeah, I could have gone so much better. So he's probably raising... Let's see. This kind of player... Probably raising 4s and up. Queen Jack suited. King Queen, King Jack. I don't know if he's raising King Jack there. I guess he is. Queen Jack off. Probably not. King 10 off, probably not. Ace 8. So this should be his rough under the gun range. This kind of player doesn't really raise 10-9 suited. Might not even raise Jack 10 suited, to be honest, but this should be pretty close. And then the big blind, fuck, who knows. So any ace, I guess. He's 4-betting, most likely, it seems like. That can't be right. So he's had no opportunities to 4-bet yet, so he's a 1-for-1. And he's 3-bet 2 out of 4. Let's just start with like top 35 or something. Let's see how that looks. So any pocket pair... I don't know, it seems insane that he'd be like 4-betting King Deuce suited. We've seen 8 hands from him, so we don't have a very large sample, so he could be getting a bit lucky too. Like, 4-betting any more than this is just insanity. We'll give him this, I guess, and see. And then I have ace king off. And then when this guy raises the flop, his range gets narrowed. So what would he raise the flop with? 4s, sure, 5s, 6, 7s, any pair. Although, yeah. King Jack off doesn't make any sense. Ace 9 off, no. Ace 10, Ace Jack. Ace King, no. Jack 10, so I guess hearts, any of these hands with hearts might do it. Ace King, Ace Queen, Ace Jack, Ace 10, Ace 9, Ace 8, Ace 7. I don't know if I can do suits though here. I guess I can, surely. Okay, so I'm gonna have to break this down. Let's go with queens and up. So queen, any queen he'll raise. King 10, King Heart, 10 Heart, King Heart, Jack Heart, and King Queen suited. And then for aces, Ace Heart, 7 Heart. And then Ace Queen suited. Okay, I think that's his range. So bet raise, this is his range. So my equity here in this exact spot is 16%. So basically I have a 4-outer getting 7.75 to 1 plus implied odds. So implied odds, I mean I might have reverse implied odds here too. So looks like I can actually fold here. With 4 outs I need like 10 to 1, so need 10.75 to 1, so I should have folded here. So I called, and it gets called 3 ways, and then check bet. So now it's going to be complicated again. So this guy didn't re-raise the flop, so we need to adjust his range now. So what would he re-raise? Queen, queen, he would re-raise 4-4, 3-3. You'd probably re-raise ace, queen, king, queen, queen, jack. Debatable. Jack 10, jack 10, 9, 9, 8, 8, 7. You might re-raise some suited hands. Like ace, deuce of hearts, surely he's re-raising. But that's gonna get really complicated. Seems like you're overthinking this spot, mate. I'll have to just say that I disagree with you. I mean, this is the point of this, is we're analyzing at a very fine detail how to play this spot. And in fact, you could go much further. So, like, if I don't need to review it, I wouldn't be doing it, so... like, even here, I could go further, but I'm not going to. And refine his range, because I'm pretty sure he would re-raise with like ace, deuce of hearts, like I said. Ace, 5 of hearts, he'd probably re-raise as well. But I mean, that's a lot of work. And since he's a maniac, it's hard to know exactly, so this should be pretty close. And then this guy on the turn, would he check anything that he raised a flop? Probably not. 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, so any pair he would certainly have to bet. King, queens, any queen, yeah. So his range doesn't change. Oh, fuck me. It just butchered it though. God damn it. This program... I wonder why it did that. So what's missing then is those suited aces and stuff. So basically I'm going to be worse equity than what this is saying here. That's really annoying though. I think probably the easiest way... so giving that 15% back. So it's like these hands and up. So ace, heart, 7 heart, ace heart, ace heart, ace heart, 9 heart. And then king, heart, jack, heart, king, heart, 10 heart, queens, jack, heart, 10 heart, and that's about it. Alright. So if we do get here, to get to the turn here, it is a call on the turn. And the river's a check, obviously. So 6s and 10s. So the mistake we made though was on the flop. Interesting. So next hand, 10-9 suited in the blind. Gets raised from the hijack by what looks like a tight player, button cold calls. Same maniac. We call. So it goes bet raise, and I have a 10-9 high over cards and gut shot draw. So let's have a look. You flop nothing three-handed with 2 draws on the board. Given pot size and blinds, it's simply a fold post flop. Good luck anyway. That's what I was doing there, was making sure that that's the case, because it's not as simple as that. it's about odds, right? So if you have the right odds and the right equity, then you do need to continue depending on their ranges. So it's not as simple as, oh, I flop nothing three-handed. So Jorgelina is playing probably top 20% or so. This should be pretty close. And then Zombie does not 3-bet, which is interesting. So he's 80-70 so far and has 3-bet 50% in 10 hands. So he's playing basically the bottom, well, so top 80%, include top 80, and exclude top 50 basically. He's playing 30%, middle 30%. It's like 20 to 50% value. And I'm not going to refine that range because that should be close enough. And then goes check and Jorgelina bets, which he'll do with basically his entire range. And then Zombie raises, which he will not do with his entire range. So what shall we remove here? So 10 deuce off, there's no way. 10 3 9 4, he might. 10 4, Jack 3, Jack deuce, Queen 3, he would not. 7 6 he could, any 8. 9 5 doesn't really make much sense. He has a gut shot, but 9 6, 9 7, 9 8, 10 5, Jack 5. 10 7 has a gut shot, Jack 7, and 10 8. And then suited hands. So Jack of spades, deuce of spades, Jack spades, 3 spades, Jack 10 spade, deuce spade. I'm basically going super in detail in this because I know fixed limit hold them very well, so I can analyze it to a higher degree than I can pot limit Omaha, for example, and stud, since I'm learning those games. 10 spade, 3 spades, 9 spade, deuce spades. Eight spade, 3 spades, or no, any 8 he would raise there probably. Any 4x, so 10 spade, 5 spades, 9 spade, 5 spades, 7 spade, 5 spade has a straight, 6 5 4, 7 6, 9 7, any 9 7, and 8 7. Okay, so basically we can dump 9 deuce, 10 deuce, Jack deuce, 9 3, 10 3, Jack 3. Any 4 he might raise, 8 3, 10 5 of spades only, 9 5. Any 6 he probably raises, 9 7, 8 7. Okay, so that's his range plus these spade hands. And so that's basically telling us what we have on the flop. So we have 24% equity facing 4.75 to 1. So basically run a 6-outer. We need 6.8 to 1 implied odds, and we're getting 4.75 to 1. So it looks like call is correct. If we do it in small bets, it's 9.5 to 2, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're getting at least 14 to 2, so 7 to 1 plus. So yeah, call looks good. And he calls. We check to the razor. He bets. It goes call. He donks here, actually. So I don't even know if I can check raise here, to be honest. Yeah. I think check call is good. And then check, he bets again, and we have to call. Unfortunately, he has ace-10. Yeah, so it looks like we played this hand right. He had queen 8 suited, cold called on the button. Let's see if that was in my range. It must be in my range for him. Actually, no, that was in a higher end of his range, so this was... I would have expected he'd be 3-betting this. But yeah, I mean, we have 10 hands on him, so not a lot of information. Next hand... I raise the hijack with 8-7 suited. Big blind re-raises, and it's the same maniac guy. We call. So, flop. I mean, I don't know how we're supposed to play this hand to make him fold, because so far he's gone to showdown 65% of the time. Now we have a 40 hand sample size on him. So, we basically are unlikely to be able to bluff him off the hand. He bets here. I mean, theoretically our best shot to bluff him off the hand is right now, but it's so unlikely that this kind of player would bet fold here. In fact, I'm pretty sure he never would. So I called, and then he bets again. His continuation bet percentage out of position, it's the first time that he's 3-bet and c-bets, or had the chance to c-bet out of position after 3-betting. But I expect that he's gonna bet here 100% or close to it. So I guess basically the question comes down to what's my equity on the turn here against his range? Because I don't want to raise here, even though against some players I might do that. I don't think I could do it against this guy. I don't know, maybe I can. Like, his range is so loose. Although his range is not that loose, it's actually tightened now. So he's 3-bet 5 out of 17 opportunities. So if we give him, let's say 25%, top 25% or so, even that seems a bit much to re-raise out of the big blind. So it's the first time out of 5 chances that he's re-raised a big blind. He seems to re-raise more in middle position, cutoff and button. So it might even be 20% or lower here. So what makes sense? So any pocket pair, I guess, for a maniac would seem amazing. Queen Jack suited would seem pretty good. Jack 10 suited. Shitty aces, I don't know about that. Not really sure, but we'll give him something like that. Top 20%. And then you would see bet flop turn, presumably. So what's our equity here? So we need like $6-1. Well, 5.75 to 1. So with implied odds, we do have odds because we can get 2 bets out of him easily. I mean, not easily, but if a 6 rivers, he's probably not going to believe a raise, but he might just check call. In all cases, though, we have correct implied odds to call here. And this is the spot that I wanted to analyze, so I'm happy to see that. And then here, when he checks, we basically have to bluff, because we're getting 6.25 to 1 on the bluff. Only has to work 1 in 7 times, and it will. But unfortunately, in this case, it doesn't. Just Jack Jack, and wins. Next hand. The big blind against the small blind, who let's see here, it's stealing percentage from the small blind. is 3 out of 4. So easy defend, no 3-bet. So I guess this is the spot I was wondering about, is the flop more than anything. So we'll give him top 75% or so. Top 80% I guess is probably pretty standard here. Although he's not a tight aggressive player, so he might be raising less and just be running hot. He's a 45-19, 1.2 aggression, so like that kind of player is not really raising 80% here. I really feel like that's not correct, so give him a bit less. It's probably even lower, to be honest. This kind of player is going to steal about the same percentage from anywhere. Yeah, 30-40%, maybe a bit more from the small blind, so maybe 50%. So any king, sure. Some of these connected hands they like a lot compared to queen 5 off and stuff. Something like this. I'll leave it a bit random. And so on the flop here, our equity is 21% roughly, very roughly. So basically we're on a 5-outer. So we can actually just fold here. Of course at the time I had that he was raising more, or thought that he was raising more than this range. But against his actual rough range, we're getting 5-1. Let's say we get 2 more big blinds out of him, so that's 9-1 implied. But I mean, that's not, with this hand, I don't expect that to be necessarily the case. So if we do get 2 bets out of him, it would be barely profitable. I mean, it can't be terrible, I guess. But yeah. So at the time I called, and then he bets again on the turn. So he's probably going to c-bet anything here out of position. 2-bet CB, turn out of position. Yeah. So his range doesn't change. Mine doesn't either. My equity becomes basically need 4-1, and I'm getting 4-1, so it's like a break-even call roughly. One thing to keep in mind too is in tournaments there's no rake, so your odds are a little bit better than you're used to. So I need 3.76 to 1. I'm getting 4-1, so it looks like it's a good call, even with a tighter range, raising range. And then the river is interesting. So he's probably c-betting 100%, so actually it looks like it's just an easy call. Oh, wait a second, I didn't actually plug in the turn card. Okay, so the turn was probably not a correct call. That makes more sense. 87-13, not close. So we needed 6.7 to 1, I'm getting 4-1. And if I do call, how am I looking? Still not very good. So the turn was wrong most likely, and the river is wrong. But not by a lot. And in this instance it actually turned out that it was correct, because he had Jack 3 and we split. And actually my equity on the turn was what, I wonder? Given the board had the pair for him to be able to split the pot here. Ace, Queen, 8. Any low card other than the 3 I win, I think. So my equity is 60% on the turn. Okay, next hand. Ace 10 in the small blind. Wait, so it's limp, limp, raised. So easy re-raise. Gets called, called, called. So 4 ways here. So I didn't mark this to analyze the flop, but I do want to have a look at it since I'm here. Because I checked out a position here. Pretty standard, but curious about my equity. So the early position raiser is raising roughly 30%. And he didn't 4-bet. So like top 30 minus a couple hands. So doesn't have aces or kings because he'd 4-bet those. Queens. This player, it's hard to say. Ace king he would 4-bet. I guess queens he would probably 4-bet. And then ace queen suited. Roughly. And then adjust some of these hands. So we need 27%. Cut off some of the shittier hands that are not suited. Jack 10, Queen 10 makes sense. 9-8 suited, 8-7 suited. So something like that. This is his range, and then this guy... Wait, no, this is a limp caller. So used to people raising first in. This guy limp called, that's really weird. Okay, well let's scrap that. So what would a 37-25 limp call to cold with? Really fucking weird. So like top 37% minus top 25%. So basically probably just a bunch of weird suited hands and shitty pairs maybe. So like hands he doesn't want to raise, but he doesn't want to fold either. So none of these hands. Maybe Jack 10, Queen Jack. And then some suited hands that he can't raise. He's not confident enough to raise. So all these baby suited connectors or something. Queen Jack he'd raise, no problem. Queen 10. Probably Jack 10 as well. Maybe some of the shittier aces, suited aces. So very roughly give him that. And then this guy limped behind a limper in the cutoff. Random lag. Probably just playing top 53 minus top 23 or something. And then the button raised behind two limpers, and he's somewhat laggy. Not positionally aware. So like top 20% or so. Any pair? You'd probably be more likely to raise some of these suited hands. And some of these aces, not really. King Jack, sure. I think something like that's pretty good. And then he didn't 4-bet, so, and he's done that 1 out of 9 so far, so he would definitely 4-bet some of these hands. Aces, ace, king, 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 probably queen, queen, ace, queen suited. Jacks. May or may not. I feel like he might ace jack suited. Something like this. So what's our equity on the flop here against these hands? 19%. So yeah, no c-bet. Button bets. So, well, first of all, we can reduce some ranges, so maybe. The original limp caller, would he really check fours? He has check raised a decent amount, but I think he would not. Only really loose players would check here, thinking that it's a good idea to be super tricky. this kind of player would bet. 5-4 would bet, 6-4 would bet, 6-5 would bet, 7-5 would bet, 7-6, 8-6, 8-7 would definitely bet, 9-7. Now we're getting into the bluffing territory, maybe not. I might bet 3-3, 9-8, 10-8. No flush possible yet. No flush draw. 10-9, Jack-9, blah blah blah. King-6 he would bet, King... he would probably bet it. King-5, Ace-5. I don't know about these ones, whether he would actually would. Because he is facing a raiser and a re-raiser, so... I think this is his range, his checking range. And then this guy Cash the Hippos with lag and doesn't bet either with this rough range. Looks like almost his entire range has missed this. Other than shitty pairs. But this is a really rough range though. Would he bet any of this? I guess as a lag he probably would bet 6s. He might bet 5s and 4s, but I'm not sure. 4 ways, like... We'll just leave it at that, I think. And then the button is the original raiser. And he does not check, so what would he check, if anything, in this range? He's not that aggressive, so he would not bet Ace-8, Ace-9, Ace-10, Ace-Jack, King-10, King-Jack, King-Queen. All these hands I'm pretty sure he would check. And then Ace-7, probably not this type of player. Ace-6, 5, 4, he'd probably feel like he has to bet. He might not even bet Ace-5, Ace-4 to be honest. We'll take out Ace-4. Ace-3, Ace-Deuce would not. So at least 5s, 6s, 7s, Ace-9s, 10s. So yeah, this seems right-ish. So, what is our equity against all these ranges now? So, we're basically on a 3-outer. So we need 15 to 1 implied odds to continue here. We're getting 14 to 1. So, I mean, it's close. Close enough that it's probably fine to continue. Thing is, though, we might have reverse implied odds here. I don't know. Could probably just check fold, to be honest, but and like if I'm check calling, I might as well have bet is the thing too. You don't really see these spots very often in shorthanded, or at least at higher stakes anyways. I'm not used to seeing 4-way flop 3-bet out of position like this. So in hindsight I probably should have just bet, or maybe check folded, but check calling can't be bad. Can't be terrible, I mean. And then it gets check raised, so this guy actually check raises. And this guy re-raises now, so now it's an easy fold. Wait, what? I called here? Yeah, now I'm confused. I guess it's easy to say, seeing the numbers, that it's an easy fold, but pretty wild that I called here. So let's plug in ranges now. So Chidoso check raise the flop. So what would he do that with? See, I took out hands that I thought he would check raise with. Like, I didn't think he would check raise here, basically, so... Actually, I'm starting to remember this guy. This guy was super weird. That's probably why I'm calling here, too. Is that he would make these full of shit check raises all the time. So maybe he would do it with, like, 3s? I guess we can leave 2s and 3s. No way he would do it with Queen 10, Jack 10, King 9, King 8, Kings. So King 7 he might, Queen 8 he might, because he's weird. 10, 9 no. 10, 8. Like, none of these hands really make sense. He must have something. I don't know. Ace 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's just leave in the 7s. Queen 8, 10, 8, 9, 8, 9, 8. Just a gut shot and overcards. threes, probably not deuces, so something like this. But I mean, this is a super weird player. It's impossible to figure out his actual range here. I mean, he himself might not even have it defined. He might just, oh, I feel like raising here, and I have a gut shot. Mood dependent. And then this guy re-raises now, and actually the other guy folded, so this is a fold here, and this is the re-raise. So 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s all make sense. 9s, 10s kind of. Ace 5 no, and ace 6 not from this player. You might not even re-raise 9s and 10s here, but we'll leave it in for now. So I mean, this is going to be a clear fold. Huh, actually my equity goes up a little bit, but it's still a fold. So I need 12.8 to 1, and I'm getting 9.5 to 1. 18, so 19 to 2, implied odds 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I'm getting at least 13 to 1 implied odds. Problem is I can be destroyed and be getting reverse implied odds here. So in any case, I would have liked to have seen a fold, I think, here. But I must have had my reasons at the time that I don't necessarily remember here. Gets capped, so this capping changes range much. 3-3, 9-7, 9-8. I don't think he would cap 9-8. 9-7, king 7 suited. And then the straight comes in and he checks, and this guy bets. Now, I just fold because the straight came in, so he checks, and he actually check raises here, crazily enough. So he check raised the flop, check raised the turn, and then bet call. And so he actually had 10-7 here. So he check raised flop cap with 10-7. No wonder I was calling too cold on the flop. This guy had 6-6 though, he had a set of 6s, so I was basically drawing dead because of this guy. And I mean, I was close in the ranges. 6-6 is in this guy's range. This guy, I don't have 10-7, but he's super hard to predict. And so yeah, he limp called too cold in the low jack with 10-7 off, which is like, and he's at 37-25, so it's like, what are you doing? It's so weird. And then check raise the flop cap, and then check raise the turn when you hit. He's just all over the place. But yeah, so it looks like on the flop I should have just bet, and then when it gets re-raised, probably just fold with ace-10 high. It's not like this is high stakes or anything, right? So players have decent hands when they're putting in a lot of action here. So, and then the turn. That's the thing too on the turn, is I suspected that he might be check raising, so I can't just call here with my 13.5 to 1 because there's a decent chance he's check raising here, which is partly why I folded. But we can actually plug in the turn, so 3 of spades, see what my equity is. 2%, wow. Yeah, okay. Alright, next hand. So you may notice we're going more in depth than usual, again because this is a format of poker that I played for 10 years, so I can analyze it to a much higher degree. And I mean, the only spots that I needed to analyze are ones like this that are a bit more complicated, and so I'm a little rusty because I haven't played this format in like 3 years. So, ace 4 spades, and I mean, I stream this for fun, so like, if I could just be doing this offline, not on stream, and I'd be doing the exact same thing. But I figure might as well stream it for fun and see if there's any interest and stuff like that, and just to be able to chat and hang out and whatever. Basically, I'm just doing what I'd normally be doing on my computer, but I turn the stream on. And if people watch, fine. If they don't, that's fine as well. So this kind of analysis is not going to be for everybody, that's for sure. So it goes raise, re-raise. I'm in the big blind with ace 4 suited. Against this weirdo guy again. So I wasn't super sure how to play this. And also this guy on the button is a super high stakes player who would always play heads up only. So I suspect, and he was a mark. So like people would play him heads up and he would lose a lot. So I suspected that, and here he is playing a tournament, right? So he's probably going to be playing too aggressive, too loose for a 6 max tournament. And sure enough, his stats seem to indicate that so far. He's a 43-33 rather than, he's basically playing 10% too loose, it looks like. So let's see, first of all, pre-flop. Like these are spots that I'm not super comfortable with pre-flop, like ace-4 suited here. You can't really fold, but you don't want to 4-bet either. So I feel like, and I don't like cold calling either, so I don't like any of the options basically. So I kind of want to see what my equity is here. So the original raiser is this Chidoso guy, so it's going to be fun trying to figure out his range. Although we just saw 10-7 off as a limp, right? So that'll help a bit. Looks like he raises about 30% from anywhere other than the button. So we'll just give him top 30% and try to figure out what top 30% to that player is. So he limped 10-7 off, right? Would he really limp 10-9 suited there? Pretty sure he would raise it. It's like 10-9 suited, Jack 9 suited, 9-8 suited. Some of these shitty aces maybe he wouldn't play. Queen 10, Jack 10. Maybe he would limp Jack 10? Because he limps quite a lot, 10% of the time. Suited kings. I think this is as close as I'm going to get to what I think his raising range is here. And then this guy so far has 3-bet 4 out of 8 chances. All on the button basically. Or no, mostly in the big blind. That's weird. So he likes to be raising for the big blind. Probably again a heads up thing, misapplying to 6 max. So it's hard to know what his 3-betting range is here with such a small sample size. But let's try some stuff. So pairs, suited aces probably. Like what does a heads up player think he should be re-raising here? A bad heads up player. Jack 10 certainly, 10-9. 10-9 suited certainly, 9-8 suited, 8-7 suited, 10. King 8 suited probably. This is probably pretty close. 7-6 suited, something like that. So 30%, 31%. So what's our equity pre-flop here? So under break even, but we're getting 3.3 to 1. So it looks like cold calling is probably fine. Which we do, and it gets called here. So Chidoso does not 4-bet, but he's never done that so far out of 17 chances. I have to imagine that he would 4-bet aces though. Like aces, kings, ace, king. Or at least aces and kings. He 3-bets so often too. It might just be that he hasn't gotten aces, ace, king yet in the spot like this. 138 hands though. So he probably would have gotten them by now. He would have gotten at least ace king at some point and been 3-bet. Most likely. Not necessarily true. So I'm going to go ahead and remove aces, ace king and king king. Because he would probably cap them. Hard to say though, he's such a weird, tricky player that it's possible he would never. So it's a bit of a dangerous thing to remove from his range. But it's what I think. And then flop comes blanks, and this guy bets. So we have backdoor flush draw, backdoor gut shot, ace high on a paired board. So before bets and checks, my equity is 29%, so basically 7 outer. Needing 5.7 to 1, getting way more than that. However, we do need to figure out ranges. Although his range doesn't really change, he would probably check 100% of his range here, and he would probably bet 100% of his range. So yeah, easy call. Actually, I check raise. Interesting. I was just thinking maybe I could check raise, but yeah, because of this guy, try and get him out. I don't mind the check raise, but oh, actually, this guy's almost all in. I did not notice that. So that's why I check raise. Yeah, makes sense. Unfortunately, he check re-raise, which sucks. And this guy calls all in. We call, of course. Now we have the flush draw and a gut shot. So this is almost the best possible card we could have ever gotten. Easy check call, and then river we miss. Easy check fold. So on the flop he had trip fives, and this guy was getting it all in with 9-4 off. Yeah. So pre-flop fine, flop fine. Although pre-flop we could actually 4-bet. Maybe. I guess probably not. So I think we played it fine the whole way. Given he's all in, the check raise is fine on the flop. Alright, next hand. 6-5 suited, raise the button. Get re-raised by Hustler. Easy call. Flop. I mean, this is probably... I mean, I'll plug it in, but I'm convinced this is an automatic call here. Plug it in just to figure things out. Get rid of the rust. So he's 3-betting from the small blind. Looks like his 3-betting range is the same across the board. So, not positionally aware. For re-raises anyways. It might just be random though. But more than likely he's just not... Yeah, we have 240 hand sample on him. So he 3-bets the same range from anywhere, it seems like. Top 13% or so. And he was c-bet 100% of those, so easy plug-in. So basically we're on a 3 outer, huh? So maybe it's not as good as I thought, because his 3-betting range is a bit tighter than usual here. We need 7.9 to 1 implied odds. We're getting, I mean we're already getting 8 to 1 immediately, plus, yeah, so it is a call. I guess the pot size is bigger than I realized. So easy call. Wait, what? I thought I had spades for some reason. But even with clubs, it's a call. And interesting that I say easy call and then just go ahead and fold. It's mainly because I thought I had spades though. Backdoor spades. But yeah, interesting that this is a call here. With nothing and no draws. Backdoor gut shot against a relatively tight 3-better. Plus you have position too, so your effective odds are better than they look. So yeah, I should have called here. Next hand. By the way, this is fixed limit hold'em. I guess I didn't specify, and doesn't actually, it's not super clear. So P-style raises the hijack, and we're in the small blind, so this is a fine tuning detail that I'm a little rusty on that I need to check. So how good is Queen Jack suited against typical hands? I feel like this is probably a fold against the average player from the hijack. So he's raising roughly, say 16% or so. So yeah, that's almost certainly a fold. Or at least from an equity perspective, a fold. King Queen off, certainly raising. King Jack, King 10, Queen Jack. Ace 8-ish. King 9 suited, 10-9 suited. So this guy, I mean, this is a good player's 17.5% range. He's not a good player. He's mediocre at best. So what would he be raising as 18%? So he's probably overvaluing aces and undervaluing high card or suited hands like that, maybe fives. They like pairs. So like King 10 you might undervalue, Queen Jack. So something like that is probably more of that kind of player's range, and actually we should just give him ace 2 suited as well. So, and then big blind we ignore. Do I have 50% equity here? Not even close. So we're out of position with 40% equity, so yeah, fold. Huh, so I 3-bet. Okay. And he caps. So I guess this, maybe this wasn't marked to check pre-flop. But I did want to figure that out pre-flop as well, because this kind of spot came up a couple times and I wasn't 100% sure, and it looks like it's mostly a fold. Against button and cutoff is different. So when he 4-bets, what does that mean? So far he's 4-bet 2 out of 12 times, raise and 4-bet. So he does seem to 4-bet more than most, which means something, which we'll get to. So it could mean 7s and up. Definitely not ace 7, ace 8, ace 9, ace 10, ace jack. Maybe ace jack, king jack, queen king, king jack suited, no. And then a bunch of suited aces, there's no way. So this is at the most possible 4-betting that he could be doing. And actually, if he's 4-betting 10-12%, maybe this is his 4-bet range roughly. Because there was a time where when I was playing I would 4-bet a lot pre-flop and fix them and hold them, and this is the kind of range that you would 4-bet with 9%. 7s and up, you're like overvaluing your pairs and these suited hands. Not necessarily overvaluing, it's just if you're going to 4-bet the wide, this is a wide 4-betting range. Ace 9 suited could be in there too. Ace 10 off. So actually let's just give him those two as well, because he does seem to 4-bet a lot. And then on this flop, 3 spade, 10 spade, 5 clubs. How are we doing? I mean, against such a wide 4-bet range, I feel like it must be a call. He doesn't bet though. Well, never mind then. But if he had bet, we'd be getting, what, 9,000, 10,000? We'd be getting 10 to 1. With a 4.5 outer, roughly. It's needing 9.4 to 1 implied odds. So yeah, it would be a continue, certainly. When he checks though, so how does that change his range? So he 4-bets and doesn't c-bet. I feel like I need to pull up some flop c-bet numbers here. 3-bet plus pot c-bet. So he doesn't c-bet as often in 3-bet plus pots, but still c-bets a lot. 2/3 of the time. So ace 10 certainly he would. Ace jack, ace queen, ace king, maybe he doesn't, just tries to call down. King queen. King queen you would probably bet. So let's remove ace king, ace queen, ace jack. Any pair he would probably c-bet, and then ace 9, jack, queen, king would have to be a spades only. Ace 9, jack, queen, king. So when he checks the flop, I think this is his range now. And the turn comes the 10 of clubs. I mean, yeah, it's really bad, not surprisingly. So I guess I must have marked this for pre-flop. Because I mean post-flop there's nothing to figure out. So yeah, I should have folded pre-flop. Next hand, blind versus blind. And this guy, from what I remember, wasn't actually raising the small blind very often. Actually, by this point he had raised 5 out of 8, so easy 3 bets. And he's, from what I recall, he was either high stakes or medium stakes good player. And here he seemed to be looser and more aggressive than normal, but I guess that's probably normal for a tournament, especially if he's running hot. So we'll give him, a typical tight aggressive player will be raising 80% out of the small blind. And he seems to be around there. He seems to be on the lower end, so we'll give him like 70, 75, let's say 73 or something. 72%. And adjust that. So some of these hands are really shitty and people don't really play them for that reason. 7-6, 6-5 is fine, 8-6. 5-4 suited, 6-4 suited. Some of these are pretty bad as well. Although 10 high is not bad. %, close enough. And so pre-flop, just for fun, plug it in. So yeah, we're ahead of his range. And then on the flop, oh, he 4-bets now actually, so that changes everything. So we're going to massively narrow his range. Although he's 4-bet 3 out of 10 times now, so he's probably 4-betting relatively light. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of hands here that he's not going to be 4-betting. So any king high, there's no way. King queen he could. King jack, maybe. Queen jack, maybe. We'll remove a bunch of hands and see how the percentage looks. 9-8, unlikely. Pocket pairs, unlikely to be doing it with the really bad ones, because they're really not that good. Aces, maybe, down to that. Suited aces, maybe. Queens. Ten-9 suited, sure. Jack-9 suited, sure. So like X9 suited and that is totally fine. And then suited aces. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch to be 4-betting the really low ones. This is 23%. Because we don't have a large sample size, this could be way off, but it's what we've got. So when he 4-bets, our pre-flop equity is around 39%. Now the flop comes blanks. Oops. So before calculating, I want to just see if I can visualize what the equity is here roughly. I mean, his range is still pretty wide, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be a call. So, yeah, easy call. Need 5.2 to 1, getting 9 to 1. Easy call. Turn now, though, will become a bit more complicated. So turn blanks, although it's probably still a call, I think. Yeah, we just need 3 to 1, even less. We're getting a 6 to 1. The river, though, this is where it gets complicated. So he would c-bet almost his entire range out of position there. He might check some, though. So let's see first of all if there's anything that he would check on the turn that makes sense. Any pair, there's no way. Fives and up either have an open-ender or better, or a pair, I mean, over pair. 10-9. 10-9 off check. Probably not. Jack 10, Queen Jack, King Queen, King Jack. Ace highs. Ace 5 he'd bet. Ace 6, Ace 7. Ace 8 he might check. But probably not, because I mean he's doing pretty good with Ace 8 here. So any Ace high is going to have to bet. King Queens. Yeah, I don't really see any hands that I'm sure he would check here. But I mean, I am calling a 4-better, so on the flop. So he might check some stuff. Not really sure. It's very, very difficult. And then on the river, what would he check? So there's a whole bunch of stuff he's going to check on the river for sure. So there's no point betting Ace 5, Ace 7, Ace 9, Ace 10. Ace Jack, King Queen he might value bet. But again, it's a 4-bet pot, so depends on his skill level. I don't know that I would expect him to value bet Ace Jack. Even Ace Queen or Ace King, I'm not sure that he would. I feel like I don't want to give him Ace Queen. I'm just going to give him Ace King, because even that I'm not sure that he would. He wasn't. I didn't have him marked as an elite player, so we'll give him Ace King. We'll give him that. Ace 7 suited, Ace 5 suited checks. And then the King highs, he can win at showdown. So, but I mean, he might bet to try and get an ace to fold, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that kind of player I could see doing that. Then the Queen highs probably have to bet. Any pair bets. And the shitty hands have to bluff. Yeah, there's not going to be enough bluff hands, I think, here to make this a call, but I could be wrong. There's a decent amount of them. I can't, wow. Easy call, it looks like. At least with this range. Huh. Very interesting. And I probably folded here, yeah. So, looks like a big mistake. I need 2 to 1 and I'm folding here, getting 8 to 1. I'm not in the habit of making like king high calls, but I mean I called with jack high earlier, but that's the exception rather than the rule. But it looks like king high can call here. And you don't see good players making calls like this very often either. It's a 4-bet pot after all. But yeah, like it's really hard to estimate his range precisely. He could have way less bluffs in his range than I think here. Like if he's 4-betting tighter than I think, and he's just running hot, then like all these hands kind of disappear. And then how does that look? I still only need 4 to 1. That's pretty incredible, actually. The only hands I'm beating is Queen Jack off, Queen Jack suited, and Queen 10 suited, and yet that's enough in his range to make it a call. Basically, if there's just one bluffing hand in there, like, well, this might not be a call. Yeah, this is still a call. So if we take all the bluffing hands out of his range, then it's got to be... It's still almost a call. There's something wrong here. I think there's something wrong. Like, how can I have 11% equity? Oh, there's King 9 suited that I split with. Okay, so now it should be 0% equity. What? Oh, for fuck's sakes, I didn't plug in the river. God damn it. Ah, all that for nothing. So we'll give him back all this stuff and completely redo this river and forget everything we just learned in quotes. So against his full range, we need 3 to 1. It's a call, so still pretty good. And if we take out some of these lower hands, it's still going to be a call. 7 to 1. So for it to start being not a call, we have to take out... I mean, there's only 2 bluffing hands in his range here, and it's a call. So it's almost certainly just a call straight up, and that's it. End of story. He has to have like no bluffs in his range for it to be a fold here. Like no bluffs that I can beat, that is. Interesting. Alright, next hand. Goes raise from the hijack, cold call. We call with 10-8 off. Flop a gut shot. Check, bet, call. So I mean this is an easy call no matter what. The main question was here. The turn. Connection is dropped here. That looks like we're finally getting back, maybe, you know. Looks like we're finally back, perhaps. Yep. So my ISP came by a couple days ago and replaced some wiring a little bit, but whatever the problem was is still there. So I'm gonna have to contact them again and then wait another 2 weeks for them to show up. But yeah, it looks like we're back. So, here I check called the flop with a gut shot. 3 ways, getting 8 to 1 or whatever, 8.5 to 1. And now the turn becomes a bit more complicated because we could be sharing the draw and stuff. So let's have a look. I guess it's just almost certainly just a call straight up. I mean, I might be overthinking this spot actually. But that's the point of this, is to make sure I'm doing things right. So this guy, we have no information on him. So just a random player raising the hijack. Give him like 20%. Very roughly. And then this guy cold calls pre-flop. Which he seems to do with like top 50% of hands, very roughly. there's no way this is exactly right. Close enough. And the flop goes bet call, and then bet call. He folds the flop a decent amount. Decent. And the original raiser, most players would see bet flop turn here. I guess there might be some hands he doesn't. So any of these hands, any pair, you might not actually see bet some of these shittier pairs. You might not even be in there in the first place with those pairs. And then ace 7, ace 8, ace 9 probably wouldn't bet. And then ace 6 and under, so yeah, I think there's some checking hands there. And then this guy would fold the flop with a bunch of hands, so half his range, maybe not half, at least a third of his range. So we'll want to get this down to like 33% or something. So all the shitty aces, backdoor draws, I guess he'll want for the flush draws. King X, I mean some of these hands he would raise, right? So he's pretty passive though, so he might not actually raise with much here. Just be tricky if he has something good. Queen Jack, Queen 10, Queen 9 all have straight draws. Queen 8 has nothing. Queen 7 has something. Jack, 10 8, 10 9 have gut shots. 9 8 has a gut shot. 8 7 has a pair. Let's say he's the type of player who won't chase backdoor flush draws. Seems like that's the case. He does not, because he folds a decent amount. So any ace deuce, or ace 8 and ace 9 have nothing too. And then Queen 9, Queen 8, Queen 7, Queen 8, Queen 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Any Jack, 10 8, 10 7, 10 6 has nothing, 9 6 has nothing, 8 6 has nothing, 7 5 has a pair, 6 5 has nothing, 5 4 has nothing. Pretty close. So let's say that's his range on the flop, and then on the turn he must raise some hands, so like King Jack. Might be scared of a straight now though, because he's pretty passive. He's not that passive though. What would he raise here? He would raise ace 10. So he doesn't have that when he doesn't raise. King Queen, I would like to think he would raise. Queens, jacks, kings. Aces, I feel like we would have found out by now. Wait, did I do that wrong? Yeah. I don't know if I did it. I don't think I did it wrong. He's just never 3-bet yet, so. But aces, I feel like we would have found out by now if he had. Ace, king, probably as well. And then ace, queen, ace, jack, king, jack. King, jack, would he raise? Probably. And then jack, queen, would he raise? Probably. And then 9, 10 is a straight, so he would raise those. Set of sevens he would raise. And then would he fold any of these hands on the turn? Ace 7, ace jack, ace queen, king 10, any king, queen 10, any queen, jack 10, any jack. 10 8 he might fold? No, he has the same hand as me if he has 10 8, and he would probably call jack. 9 8 looks pretty bad now. Just the gut shot to a shitty straight. Like if a 10 comes, an ace wins. So 9 8 probably folds. 8 7, I'm not sure. 9 8, 7 5's got a pair. 8 7, 9 7. Jack 6 has jacks. 10 8, queen king, ace 7. So yeah, I think this is probably his calling range on the turn. So here we go. What is our equity? So it looks close. So 86 divided by 14, we need 6.1 to 1, and we're getting 6.75 to 1. Plus implied, if any. Like if a 9 or an ace comes, we're not really getting any implied odds, to be honest. So It's our direct odds. Like if a 9 comes, yeah. We have no implied odds pretty much. So, but we're getting a bit of profit here. Needing 6.1 to 1, getting 6.75 to 1. So it looks like the call is correct. Barely, interestingly. And the actual hands were King 8 suited from the hijack. So did we still have that in his range? Nope. I put King 9 suited and up. So he's raising a bit lighter than I would expect from the average player. And this guy had Ace Jack, which I did have in his range. Didn't I? Yeah. Cool. Next hand. So we have King 3 suited in the small blind. Okay, I don't remember why I marked this, but maybe we'll see over the course of the hand. I think I know why. In any case, I know that I wanted to check and see whether I'm supposed to be raising or stealing with King 3 off, for example, in the small blind. King 3 suited for sure. But I couldn't remember King 3 off hands if I should be raising. Hey, how's it going, man? Morning. Yeah, you're up early. Or, I mean, you're around at a time that I don't usually expect to see you. Yo, yo, yo. Maybe before work. So yeah, so King 3 off, I wanted to know. I wanted to remind myself whether I want to be raising that hand in the small blind, blind versus blind. And I suspect the answer is no, because I had done a pretty deep analysis on that. Rare day off, ah, nice. Sweet. That's a good day. So check my filters in the cash games. So yeah, blind versus blind, raise small blind, King deuce off to King 4 off. So I have a filter all prepared from back in the day. And it looks like I was down 22.5 BB100. Now just folding, you would lose a quarter of a big bet. So minus 25 BB100. So it's ever so slightly profitable, at least in the spots that I chose to play those hands. So it's, I guess it's worth it then. Just raise King deuce off to King 4 off. Although it's possible that at higher stakes it's not profitable, and at lower stakes it is, or the other way around. Judging by my history, I was losing more at lower stakes and losing less at higher stakes, as in it was better at higher stakes. Or I was just always folding it at lower stakes. Clearly not, because I was making profit sometimes. Like at the lowest stakes. So it looks like King deuce off to King 4 off is worth raising from the small blind first thing. Which I did not remember correctly. Or at least last time I had checked it wasn't. But it looks like towards the end there was making a bit cool. Okay, so that's the second fixed limit tournament. Now we're going to check the no limit tournament. I had a couple hands to review, I think. That was the long tournament. So this one, we have 2 hands to review. And this was a no limit bubble burst tournament, which I still don't exactly know the difference, because it was like a normal tournament up to the point where I got eliminated. So we have ace king off here, stack sizes and whatnot. My M is 44, 114 big blinds. Easy raise from the cutoff, first in. We get 3-bet by what looks like a maniac. He's raised 3 out of 5 hands so far. But this is his first 3-bet out of 3 chances. I chose the 4-bet, and don't know if my sizing is correct here. 4-betting doesn't come up very often, and I don't play a lot of no limit, so it looks like I probably didn't 4-bet the right amount here, looking at it. Should have been to like 3,000 or something. He calls, not surprisingly, given that he was getting 3-1. And then the flop is terrible. Pretty terrible. Felt like I had to take a stab at it though, to make him fold like 7s and under and stuff like that. And I have a gut shot. Made a small bet, and he check raised. GG. I mean, I marked this, but I don't know what I can do differently. So, re-raise more pre-flop, obviously. There's lots of things I can do differently, but I still don't really know the best way to play this against this guy. It's a pretty bad flop, to be honest. So maybe I should just free card it. Hope to hit a 10. But I mean, a 10 isn't even that good of a card because it's a really scary board. So even my one draw is not even that good. Then again, if he has a 9 and that draw comes in, I can win a lot from him. If it's not a diamond. Okay, next hand. Ace King again. Now it's completely different. Our M is 5 and we have 14 big blinds, so totally different scenario. Gets limp raised by somebody who's raised 2 out of 3 now. So I mean, this is just, oh, I was going to say an easy 3-bet, but it becomes a lot more complicated when somebody re-raises here. So now we're facing a cold 3-bet all in. And this guy had 57 big blinds, so it's a huge raise. And an M of 22, so he wasn't in any danger. So what is he making this play with? I'm no limit expert, so estimating his range here is not super easy for me. 1 second. I don't actually know what album the song is from, and I'm kind of curious. Injustice for All. So, first of all, this guy's... I mean, he's pretty irrelevant, to be honest. This is the main hand we're worried about. Because the original raiser, who's probably raising 50%, is going to fold almost all the time. And that's the thing, is I felt like this guy might be making a play at this guy, because I just arrived at this table, if I remember right. Like a few hands earlier, so it seems like it might have just been a re-raise against this guy because he's raising all the time, so... Justice, so good. Love to hear it with a bass guitar one day. Interesting. So what would this guy shove 57 blinds? So looking at the other stacks at the table, there's nobody left other than this guy in who has a big stack, so it's not that risky of a play. Would he do it with 8s and under? The rest of the table, the biggest stack is 23, 27 big blinds. So he might do it all the way down to like 8s or 7s. Maybe even lower, I'm not sure. And then for aces, ace hands, there's almost no bass guitar in the mix. Yeah, I don't know much about that kind of thing. Ace 8, ace 9, ace 10, ace jack. Shoving 57 big blinds, I don't know. Ace queen off, maybe. King queen suited, probably not. Ace jack suited, I feel like no. I feel like he's probably not even doing it with ace queens. But maybe he is. This is the loose version. So how are we doing against the loose version? So we're getting 2.2 to 1 on a coin flip, so against his loose range, it's an easy call. What about against his tight range? So like ace king and then 10s and up. I mean, it might be even tighter than this, to be honest. but I'm happy with that. So needing 1.5 to 1, getting 2.25 to 1. So even against this tight range, it's a call. And I did call, and we got it in 3 ways. And he had 9s, so a bit looser than the tight range. And this guy cold called with probably ace king, I guess. Queen queen. So we got it in just for curiosity's sake. This was the last hand of the tournament. We got it in with 36% equity 3 ways, because the 9s are dominated. So it's kind of like a 3-way coin flip. A little bit better. Okay, so that looks right. And now I wanted to do a little bit of checking up on stud, because that's where we're going to go play now. Let me just log on to PokerStars so I can get on the wait lists. Somebody who watches the stream, or at least found my VODs, gave me a bunch of pointers, and I want to look over those real quick and double check that some of the things he's saying are right, because one thing, I think he might have just made a typo and it gave the opposite meaning to what he is saying. I think that's probably what's going on there, because it sounds wrong to me, but we're going to check the math here and see. But he's been playing stud his whole life and whatnot, and is really good, I'm sure. Better than me by far. So I want to look at his strats and integrate them. Oops. Three stud tables going. Okay, so first thing he says here is blame Lars Ulrich. Says to raise all draws on 3rd Street as if they were pairs, which at higher stakes, sure, I will do that. Here I don't mind not doing that, because players are not super observant at the micros. So he says you can flat to a raise, as this is a standard move for any decent pair with a kicker lower than the raiser's door. So like if I have 8-8-9 and he has X Jack-Jack, is what he's saying. You can cold call with this. Okay, now there's another thing he said that I'm not convinced of, because I've done a bunch of checking on this. So he says when you, on 4 street, have a 4 flush or 4 straight, that you're favored against a pair, any pair, heads up. I know multi-way you are, but I thought heads up you were ever so slightly underdog. But maybe I'm thinking of 2 pair actually, that must be what it is. So let's just give somebody like aces. Ace A star or whatever, and oops, Ace A star star, and give myself a flush draw. So heads up with a flush draw against 1 pair. So yeah, so the pair is a favorite, as I thought, but not by a lot. But if we give him actually guaranteed single pair hands, so like king diamonds, 10 diamonds or whatever, 10 clubs. Okay, so actually yeah, if we know he has a single pair, we're a favorite, even with this kind of connectedness. What if he has 3 diamonds? That doesn't work, obviously. Club. So he would now become a favorite, but we're not too worried about that. I'll have some time off corner, but back at building now. Saw the arena, it looks amazing. Nice. We need pictures. What else here? So yeah, single pair against any 4 flush you can raise because you're a favorite. So, okay. Heads up. If you have 2 pair and 4th and someone shows a flush drawing, you can raise because 2 pairs a favorite. Yeah, so basically 2 pair beats a 4 flush, beats a pair on 4th street. And then probably might get internet today. What? Mum stream before we know it. Nice, nice. Gotta check up on the news here. Some people check Google News for their news. I check Pooflower's Twitter on the daily. Only news I need. Can't help yourself, but I'm now an official Baby Metal fan. Really? Funny. Might be getting internet today. Can't go back to her old place, she's permanently here now. Holy shit. The new era. Okay, so he says with pairs, kickers are everything. If you have, say, 8 king 8. I like to show this differently. So king 8 8. So buried king, split 8s. And jack is betting like it's jacks. If your kings are alive, you should continue to 7th in most cases. So just having 1 overcard to the jack. So I think I was undervaluing spots like this, maybe. It says you can even re-raise with the king 8-8 early on, 3rd street. Even if you know for sure it's jacks, just to find out if it's jacks kind of thing, I guess. It's thin, but it's a winning play long term. And like if somebody has queen, queen, 10, 10, and you have star 9, 9, ace, again, it should be continuing to 7th. 32%. All about the kickers. Whereas 9, 9, jack with no backdoor is a fold. Because yeah, you're drawing to a worse 2 pair. But yeah, we know Baby Metal. I mean, I don't know them that well. It's always in RageQT stream and it's amazing. I have to see them live. Oh man. Reap. Reap. Yeah, I looked into them. They don't seem to be that highly regarded, so I didn't go any further than that. But I don't mind the style. The audience does Wall of Deaths and Circle Pits. What's a Wall of Death? Check DMs. Uh-oh. Oh. Nice. Pretty fucking epic. Holy shit. Pictures of the arena. Show this one. Okay, I guess I can show them all. The loading is real. So the scale of it is pretty big. Pooh Arena. Nice. Jeez, holy fuck, man. Pretty sick. Nice. Circle pits on a Baby Metal concert. So what's a Wall of Death? Okay, so... Right. What else is he saying here? Mainly because the high door will often be on a steel. Yeah, I get that. Makes sense. So you can re-raise them even if you have a worse pair to get a feel for where they are, and they might actually just have a steal. Especially at higher stakes, I guess that would be more relevant. And they do have a steal that raises the value for you. Fourth is for jamming when you're ahead. Interesting. Fifth is where you basically decide whether you're seeing seventh or not. Yeah. And he says to never fold 7th Street if you can beat their board. So like even with ace high, because you're always getting such good odds. Unless the pot's tiny, obviously. So you can pick off a lot of bluffs, busted draws, weaker 2 pairs, etc. If you have high card ace and he has no pair and a king only, you make the call. Apparently it's a critical error to fold the river with anything, basically. So that's pretty interesting. So a couple interesting changes I'll have to make there. And then we'll integrate some of that stuff today. That's a German Wall of Death. So this is probably a circle hit. Where's the Wall of Death? Not seeing a Wall of Death. Huh. Runner heads above the door is nice. Wall of Death looks pretty crazy. So what part of that is a Wall of Death? As for the poker side of things, we're going to be pausing the stream here and switching over. Stopping and starting the stream. Thanks for hanging out, dudes. I'm going to play stud poker. There's 3 tables available. I'll play probably 2 tables, I suspect. But yeah, give me a few minutes to set everything up, restart the stream, and I'll be back soon. 20 seconds? Let me have a look. Must have missed it, I guess. I don't know what I'm looking at. Wall of Death. Just tell me what it is. I don't see anything interesting or that looks like a wall. Is it this? 15 seconds? People standing around in a circle. It's probably just Urban Dictionary it. So like this. Yeah, I don't know, I don't see it. I skipped it right before it started. Okay, One more time. So from the beginning. So like this. Again, I don't see anything interesting. There's a circle and people in the middle. We're at 11 seconds now. Here. They all run towards each other. Okay. Interesting stuff.